The Dwarven Empire once stretched across the entirety of the underworld. They had they had these huge highways, massive kind of cities underground called Tigers, and of course the Darkspawn, who are kind of what the ever-present threat, started breeding in the Deep Road, spreading and pushing the dwarves back and back and back to the point where the Dwarven Empire has only a single city.
That's right. Now this particular area is kind of connected to something that we've shown at E3. Do you want to talk about that?
It is. I think it's really cool. So when we started E3, you guys remember me narrating the walkthrough and everything. We started in that awesome cave with the waterfall coming down. What we didn't do was look behind. And behind us there was a door, which leads into here. So
and nugs always hang out there as well.
Yeah, there's always a nug there just going, chirp, unless the mercenary assassins are in the midst of killing it.
Yes.
Which can happen at times. But yeah, this is a nice, think of it as E3, the alternate path.
That's right, yeah.
So this area would have been a dwarven area where they built up to the surface and then kind of sealed it back off. Obviously it's fallen into some disrepair. Some of the cavern has collapsed because the dwarves have had to abandon it. And as we've come here, it's usually to investigate the fact that there are some Carta that are now kind of taking it over and are using it in some way.
And you have to sort of the door is locked initially, so you have to try and find a key and
there's I believe there's 3 different ways you can get in there.
Oh really? I only thought there was one.
Yeah,
so there you go.
There's one for exploration early. There's a plot event that can also take you in there or take you back there, possibly.
Yes.
And if you've cleared it out, that's significantly easier.
And I love how multi-level this dungeon is.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
A nice, huge vertical space, wide open. You see that poor Paragon with lost an arm.
Yeah. I just want to double check that I'm playing on... Okay, so I'm definitely playing on normal. Okay. So, I happen to know that there is a dwarf here. So, but what I could have done is bring up my tactical camp and scout it ahead.
Instead of being slightly prescient.
Yeah, So you can see, so tactical camp, obviously, it's back on all the platforms. It's really bringing in that sense of that you had with Dragon Age Origins.
You've got ground rings.
Ground rings, and when we first got ground rings in, do you remember that? It was like...
Oh, everyone started cheering.
Oh my god, ground rings!
Yeah, I remember that. It was during the E3 review. We were getting ready, and we were like, "Okay, we're going to showcase TACAM nice and early." And the first time ground rings came up, the whole room burst into applause. It was like, "Yeah!"
So here you can do like basic attacks. You can swap between the characters here. Tell them to give.
And in fact, if you do multiple characters with attacking, you'll see that the target kind of queues up, and you can see who else is going to be doing basic attacks on him. Just press A on one of them. And there, you'll see Vivian's been added as well.
That's
so you can kind of tell who's going to be targeting each individual character as you sweep around.
Exactly. And then what I can do is, at least on the controller, is hold down the trigger and it starts timing and see everything play out.
Yeah. On PC, that's a remappable key.
Exactly.
So,
that's right.
You can be playing the whole combat in this mode. You can toggle between the modes.
Yeah.
Of course, you can get some pretty wicked screenshots.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Like this guy's like, I wish you were here because look at me.
Yeah,
determined.
exactly.
So determined.
The model guy,
yeah.
So yeah, this is really cool. What we found is that the players, the more people get their hands on these, this tactical cam and real time, as they swap between the two quite fluidly, which I think is really neat. It's a great byproduct of creating this new system that allows us to move time forward.
Shamey's dead. That needed a shield bash.
Yeah.
So
can you fall off those ledges?
Yeah, worth noting.
Yeah,
you can.
I could.
As a player, if you fall off, you will reset and come back up. If you send an NPC sailing off those ledges, then they will be able to. They will die. They will die absolutely horribly, and it's immensely satisfying.
It is.
Cassandra, in particular, has a couple moves that are very, very good for sending guys flying with the shield, doing bashes.
So I'm just going to run around for a little bit, Mike, and.
It can be. It's contextual.
Up to you,
if you don't have a quest tracked, then it will turn off. You can also turn it to be off all the time, on all the time.
That's right. And it's the same with things like damage floaters. You've seen some damage floaters coming up there. I've changed my config to only have damage floaters for my controlled character.
You can do the whole party.
You can do the whole party. You can do, I think, none as well.
Yeah, you can say none. I don't want any damage floaters.
That's right.
So we had a guy come down around here. Now, another thing worth noting, the armor that Cameron is wearing on his main character, we'll take a look at it in a second, is one of the suits you get if you pre-order.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, we did some cool stuff this time around. In fact, coming up very soon, we're going to dig in on crafting and customization. Actually, just looking at a QA, you guys have sent in some questions. How does that work? Walk us through it. So I've written up an intro. But here's one of the things that's very neat: is that armor has a pattern that determines its appearance. But once you have it, you're going to get a starter set of armor if you pre-order it again. You're also going to get the schematic for that armor. Meaning that you could be building that armor out of dragon scale, out of the best materials in the game. If you really like the look, you can actually invest some time into crafting and make that armor out of like top tier stuff.
That's right.
In fact, you can do that with almost every armor in the game. You can find a schematic for it, buy it, recover it from some ancient tag, and once you have it, you can then use the Inquisition attachment to build it.
Yep. Thank God you're here because I can't talk and drive.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably good. There's two.
I'd end up with like game face.
with you just
cheese.
There is cheese. There's cheese and sausage links. We've really broadened out our food in the dungeon spectrum.
Are there any sort of basic needs? Do you need to eat or sleep?
No, we haven't gone big on eating or sleeping. What slightly pushes into that territory though is the change we've made. The change we've made to health.
That's right. Let's talk about health because we're going through a dungeon now, and it's sort of slowly coming down as we get into more.
So, in fact, pull your left trigger. Just bring that. Now you notice Cassandra, the Inquisitor, and Vivienne are slightly hurt. You can see their health bar is depleted. That's the result. Health doesn't come back instantly after combat anymore. It can be restored via potions. In fact, if we pull up the tactical wheel, we can. Yeah, there you go. Nope.
Oh, that
one. Yeah. So you have a stack of potions. You can also carry additional potions on a per character basis that are regeneration. There's a grenade you can throw to heal your party as well. But ultimately, you'll notice it's 8 of 8. That's a limited resource. You don't have an unlimited number of potions available. Meaning that you have to play a little more strategically. Think long term, not just win this fight, but like, how am I going to survive fight after fight after fight. And Cam's playing him normal, so it's not gonna crush him.
No.
But he is able to go through those encounters, and even then he's taking a bit of damage. One element that's worth noting.
I'm also picking up some crafting materials here as well. So Darkstone, this is a great area for Darkstone, and each material's
Drakestone.
Oh, it's a Drake, sorry.
Yeah.
I can't read.
Yeah.
Each type of crafting material has different stats. Just pause that for a sec. So. I don't know what this one has, but like it might be like +2 to magic and or defense, and that will change depending on what slot you inserted into in the schematic of the equipment that you want to craft.
Yep, absolutely. So if you use higher tier metals, your armor base value will be higher, and then each schematic, especially as they level up, they have a lot more utility slots and defense slots, and depending on I'm going to use this leather and this metal, you'll come away with different stats. But anyway, to talk through damage, one of the mechanics we use to kind of get away from the idea of the heal spam mage, that's the heal, is that instead the whole party kind of works together. Oh, you sir have that is Blink.
That is Blink.
And you've zoomed off of the slide. So it lets you move very quickly through combat, great for evading dragonfire and such. So as a party, you can have your mages set up barrier. You'll notice the Inquisitor right now has that swirling blue around him and a bar overlaid. That barrier will eat damage, so it prevents it. Warriors can build up something called guard. If you challenge a foe, if you taunt a foe, if you shield block or parry, there are many ways warriors can build up their guard stat. And guard, which you'll see again on the Inquisitor and cast now, are those silver bars. And they act like an ablative of health. So in a lot of ways, the warrior is as responsible for healing themselves, almost as a preventative measure. It really changes the gameplay dynamic. It means you don't have heal spam. It means your mages can be a lot more focused on crowd control, and your warriors can be a lot more focused on protecting themselves.
That's right. Now there is a revive kind of a spell, right? Like at the end of the spirit tree.
So there's a revive spell which allows you to get someone up at range. You can also, if you're willing to spend the time, run someone over and press A or hold A or interact by right-clicking. So that you can get any character back up during combat. It's slow, whereas the spell is like, he's up and suddenly heals. You can even invest in some really, really high-end alchemy and get a potion, like a throwable grenade that can revive people from unconscious states.
Now, last
Does
time,
the pre-order content give any inherent advantage to players?
Oh, that's yeah. So pre-order basically changes your variety visually. You have this sword available. You have new armor available, and at the very beginning, you're granted weaponry that kind of matches the starting class you pick. So if you pick an archer, you will have a bow delivered to you and a suit of light or medium armor. But in terms of like long-term advantage, not really. It just gives you yet another avenue for customization.
it does. Now this is the Carter leader, so this is
We're going to do a tough rank
someone
here for sure.
Inquisitor pulled that guy over.
Yep. So the Inquisitor being two-hander is very good at single targets. He's also good in a mix. You can actually build him one of two ways. Two-hand tanking is possible.
Yep. You can see the low health. So you can see when they sort of flash low health, and then one of them's drinking a potion to pull up. Quickly putting the barrier in there as well.
Yep.
So it's definitely this is definitely tough to fight for my level. So these guys are level 8. I'm level 7. Those guys are brutal.
A fight like this, you can be really well served. There's a couple of different strategies Cam can use. If you can keep the guys clustered, which you can do with Break Pride with Cassandra, then that's really good potions as well. So this fight's good. If you can get them clustered, you can throw up and throw Shelltops in with Barry.
Yep.
You can use your two-hander behind him. Being behind a guy naturally gets you a bonus for your chance to crit. Oh, that was actually a stall detonator. That guy was electrified and you hit him with a multi. That's why he died in the cataclysm of lightning. Oh, and we've lost Cass. Tank down.
But we did win.
We did win.
We'll come up, but now, I mean, what have we got? Like 2 potions left.
Yeah.
And I'm barely scratching the surface of this dungeon. So this is another cool thing. So what I'm doing here is I'm hitting one of the sticks, and that's sort of highlighting some of the interactables in the world. So loot, things like that. It's kind of like, was it shift in the past?
Actually, a couple things. It would be tab,
Tab,
for the
that's
traditional,
right, yeah.
And in fact, you can again map it anywhere you want on PC.
Yeah.
One thing that came up there, you notice the power notifier
Yes,
came
we
up
should
as
talk
well
about that,
as
yeah.
Inquisition perks.
Yeah.
So power, for those who've been following along, is how you grow the Inquisition. Think of the Inquisition as a character, and power is like its XP.
Yeah.
Actually, no, power is more like its gold, and then influence is its XP. When you have power, it basically is a currency you can spend to progress the story, to open up new areas to explore, to pursue new objectives. There's a couple of pieces of content that are kind of hidden away behind those.
Yep.
There's even mid-level areas where you can identify, like, oh, this bridge has been shattered in the fighting. I plant my banner, go back to my war table, and spend power to open that.
And that's really, and then when you come back there, it's completely built.
Not only repaired,
like,
but now your flag is flying on it.
Yeah,
which
one of the
feels
cool things in Hinterlands, a guy asked you to build guard towers to protect a village.
Absolutely.
Finding those spots and then going back and having those built with your power.
Yeah,
Inquisition power.
with guys saluting you, Inquisitor. Yeah, it's very satisfying.
It is.
We had kind of an idea we had, which is, what if you could make your mark on the world
Absolutely.
and have more of an impact? So anyway, in gaining power, you can gain it by questing, you can gain it by pursuing objectives, mapping an area. There's any number of ways to get power, and there's more of it than you absolutely need to complete the game.
Yep.
Meaning that you may have a very different experience from your friend and say, I didn't even go to that particular desert. So that's a locked door, so you need a road to open that. We also, I don't know if we went through it, but there was I saw a wall that you could knock down if you had a warrior.
There was, yeah. There's different sort of barrier types in the game. Like there's some really interesting magic barriers as well that the mages are really useful for, obviously. And then locked doors are the equivalent for a rogue, right? But we wanted something for everyone, regardless of the character, and try and give you some
friendly fire, and can you cast abilities and spells out of combat?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes, actually. So friendly fire is separate mode in the game, so it's not tied to difficulty. It's basically just an option you toggle on.
Yep.
One word of warning is that the AI can get a little punchy when it comes to friendly fire, so you may want to turn off, hey, fireball when they see a cluster of guys.
Yeah.
That said, for players that are going to play very tactically and kind of micromanage their party, friendly fire can be an amazing challenge, and it's really just a challenge add.
Yeah.
What was the other one they're called?
And can you cast an ability out of combat?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. In fact, unlike previous days, you have free attack, free cast. You can barrier your party.
There's me doing it.
Yeah. And in fact, so philosophically, we wanted to make sure that you could prepare.
That's
for
right.
all that.
Yep.
So while barrier will burn down over time, so you can't cast it and then run around forever. things like being able to lay down traps, things like being able to enter stealth, all those things.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure that there was never a situation where you really wanted to do it, but you had to get close enough to aggro guys.
Exactly. Like if I was actually an intelligent person, what I would have done in that tougher fight was prepare. So I would have cast barrier before I went in through the door. I would have laid down some traps at the front of the door.
Yeah, caltrops
aggroed
in
the
the door.
guys, brought them back into the door, had my warrior, probably Cassandra because she's spec as a tank, hold that position at the door, and then start to AoE in. But I'm not intelligent, so I didn't do it.
So you charge right on in.
That's right. So this is a cool piece. So there's lots of different collectibles in the game. That one in particular is really cool because you can take it back to Skyhold and start to form this picture and have people sort of investigate what this mosaic collection is starting to tell us the story of that mosaic. And there's a variety of things like that. So I was trying to find some Darkspawn bowstrings in some of these guys I've been killing, because you can take those back and they're part of the creature research that you can do as well in your library.
Darkspawn are down further.
Yeah, I'm going to get my butt kicked.
Yeah.
I've got no health and there's a tough...
Oh, you'll be fine.
And if your characters fall in battle, are there lasting injuries from that?
We've gone away from lasting injuries because the there's an elf.
Yeah,
because of the permanent health.
Well,
injuries was a system we had in DAO and DA2 where it permanently damaged you. But entering into combat at 10% health or 25% health, it scales based on difficulty. Seemed penalizing enough.
I'm so gonna die. Why do you make me die, Mike?
Well, because it gives you a chance to get.
Because I remember.
It gives you a chance to breathe, to feel truly at ease. Oh, he's about to go berserk. Bam! Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Now,
Barrick's going to run away and leave Vivian down there.
So notably,
all right, now I'm going to go.
You know, here's the thing: is you could see when he lifted his maul over his head.
Yeah.
I was able to call what he was going to do.
Yeah.
As you play through the game, creatures have habits and behaviors, and you can start to learn what they're going to do, so that you can start to anticipate.
Yes.
If you've been playing tactically, you could have used your pause and play and attack him and actually pulled everybody back from him, and he actually would have just stood there kind of flailing, because once they go berserk, they go berserk.
Yeah.
You could have interrupted him using a shield bash, payback strike, something like that, or a stone fist.
Yep.
Or, final option, you could have just soaked it with your tank.
I could have.
You could have done that as well.
Shield wall obviously is very useful for that.
Yeah.
So I just died. What we might do is we might take some Q&A.
Sure,
But while we do that, I'm going to just load into Hinterlands.
Okay.
Because we've seen that before, and but I'll just run around and
have something prettier on the screen than us.
Yeah.
Monday morning, or
yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, so hit us with questions, guys.
Yep. So if the combat's too tough, can you run away for a while?
You can. You can disengage from virtually any combat.
Like a coward.
Yeah. And what it will do, if your characters are unconscious, it will pull them behind you. They get back up, sorely wounded.
Yes, often using their limited health potions, of course. So there's definitely a cost to doing it.
Yeah, but yes, in a lot of ways, we want you to be able to scout an encounter as well. Yep. Sending someone stealth in, kind of target locking them and going, oh, that guy's level 12. I should not be here. Or, hey, I'm going to give it a try. Lets you kind of engage with the content up to the difficulty you want.
Right. More questions?
They're hoping to see some tactical cam combat once we get into it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Some tactical cam combat?
Yeah, this has been a request you guys have had for quite a while. So first off, to defeat the mighty Fennec.
Yes. and his friend.
and his friend, the August Ram,
yes.
That's not an August Ram, that's a normal Ram. I'm sorry. I apologize to Ram.
Do you know that you can chain shot these guys?
Yeah,
I understand it the other day. I was chain shotting nugs and pulling them towards me. I love killing nugs.
So in this case, you're kind of a bad man.
I am.
Right now, there's a Tumblr page being made. Okay, basics. Obviously, I'm going to use a long shot and a winter's grasp to pin it in place. You see the ice go off, and then long shot has a long draw to be able to fire at any point. And of course, this is the least challenging encounter in the game.
Yes.
But starting time, stopping time, and there's a long shot hit. So there's nothing left of our poor dear Fennec.
Let's go find some guys like
some real challenges.
Some actual enemies.
Absolutely.
Are the deluxe edition items tied to just a single playthrough?
No, any item that you're receiving via like a DLC or like a pre-order bonus or whatever would start every time you started a new game. Yeah, we don't want them to be
So are they Templars?
So these guys here, in fact, we can lock onto them and get an idea. So here we have part of the Templar fight that's happening. So these guys present a much more interesting challenge than a singular fox.